Alright, while we watch OG and Liquid in the background, I want to talk about the question, what do we really want in a game? What I encountered today was really interesting for me. Today I was getting the results of an exam that I took, and this exam doesn't do anything for me. It's an exam I purely took out of joy. I was learning an old language, I was learning Latin, and the only reason I did it is because I wanted to enjoy Latin and I want to get a deeper knowledge there and I want to enjoy the time. Afterwards, I learned with a couple of people, and then I got my results. I looked it up on the internet and I got my results, and I saw my results, and they were decent, they were fair enough, but they weren't like super good. And then the guy across me, he said, "Oh gosh, I'm so happy that you're not better than me." And that kind of struck me, because what happened there is I always associated this language as something that I want to do. Like, this is something I want to do, I want to have fun while doing it. This is something I do personally for me, and this is something that I don't need to be graded. It's like, imagine if you have children on a playground. You don't tell them, "Oh, look how you slided down this slide," or "Look how you played in the dirt. You did so well," like you did so well playing. That's not a thing that's happening. I have to tune this down a little bit. So people shouldn't say, "You did this so well, you played so well," because the nature of playing is having fun about it, and if you have fun about it, then the result is that you're good in Dota, for example, if we translate it instantly. So, to get this together, in some cases in life, it's not the point of being good in something. In some cases, you want to have fun at something, and you really have to be sure at where to distinguish those, because if you mix them up, you're gonna be at a really weird spot in life. And what I realized, I was really mad at the whole day basically, because of this encounter, and I didn't exactly realize why, but the person I sat across, he was like, "I'm so thankful," or "I'm happy that you're not better than me." And this actually means two things. Like, it either could mean, well, I'm happy that I did the job that I had decently, which could be a positive thing, but it could also be two negative things. It could be, well, I don't want you to be better than me out of pride, or it could be, well, if I'm bad at this, then it means I messed up in reality and I'm not structured correctly, so this leads to negative emotions and you don't want to have that as well. So his reaction is totally normal, and I thought as well, I was the origin of this feeling, because I felt like I presented myself in a way as if I would know this language really well, because I have a lot of fun with it, a lot of joy with it, and this could lead to me like seeming as if I want to impeach or like get some good status in compared to another person. So his reaction was completely natural and was due to my action actually. So I was feeling a little bit sad about this moment, because I didn't realize for myself that this is something that I'm doing purely for the joy of it and not because I want to perform in it. And then as soon as I had this vision of, well, it's true, I actually performed worse than somebody else, then instantly I felt under pressure. I felt like, well, should I do it again? Should I perform better? Should I fix something? Didn't I do enough? And all of this was never in the conversation, because this was something I purely did for joy anyways. So this mix-up really led to a lot of confusion in me. And then it occurred to me that many people I talk to in Dota, they have the same mix-up. They're like, well, I'm not good at Dota. And to start with it, that's like, maybe this is the wrong proposition for you. Maybe you don't need to be good at Dota. Like, maybe Dota is something for you that's fun, and that's a journey, and that's an experience, something that you want to be playing at. And then when you do that, when you enjoy this process, and when you start to look at the game and you start to look at your impact and like the origin of what you do, and then you see the results out of it, then you actually realize that you become better step by step. But you don't become better by simply trying to be better. It's as if you would be trying to be virtuous. That doesn't make you virtuous anymore. Like, if you do the virtue for the virtue, then it's not virtuous. This might be striving in philosophy, but for example, if you look at Dota and you look at your MMR every single minute of the day, and every time you're in game you're sweating because you know it could go up or down, then you're not focusing on the right thing. And so the paradox of this is, as soon as you have fun and as soon as you do something consistently, then you become better with it with time. Maybe not with like the pressure that many people have who actually have to take this course and actually have to think about it and have to get like a decent grade to move on in their life. This is a privilege I had in this specific course, that I really did it out of pure joy. But then it's important not to mix those two up. And this combined with how I felt in the last days, like yesterday I played a couple Dota games, and on paper, like we can look over this real quick. Yesterday I played a couple games and I won all of the 5 games. But when I remembered the day, the only thing I felt was, well, I was very, very inconsistent with the games, so I wonder how I can fix that. And then, for example, if you look at the score, like it's nothing crazy, but I surely didn't solo carry those games. But you could say, well, the result is great, so you must have focused on the result, and that's why you improved. But that's actually not the case. For example, if you look at this game, I got completely carried. I'm 6-16, and somehow we won this game because of the Infest lifestealer combo or whatever. Like, I got carried the shit out. And I still kind of enjoyed the game, and I still looked at it, and I was laughing every time this guy just blinked on me and completely annihilated me. That was crazy. But the lesson that I took with it is that the journey includes a work on yourself and not a work on this number. Like if you see this MMR number up top and you want to improve it, the first thing to do is to decouple yourself from the vision of improving it. Start doing that, and then look at yourself and look at how you can improve at a game step by step. And then you're going to realize pushing up this number means to get 5 more CS in 5 minutes or in 10 minutes than last game, and it means incremental, very, very slow step on many dimensions. And then you're gonna realize that success is not a linear thing you can focus on. It's not like, I don't know which way the cam goes, but it's not a linear graph you can just move on. It's something where you work on many, many different areas, and soon you will realize everything sets itself together like a puzzle. It's just important for me, maybe this is not what you want. Maybe you don't want to work dedicatedly on many, many small things consistently over a long period of time in the knowledge that your progress will seem very, very slow at the beginning. Maybe this is not what you want. Maybe you want to queue into a game and you want to have a vision on it and then just try to execute it. If it doesn't work, you try it again, and then you pick 20 different heroes and you have fun at the game. And you really have to distinguish this for you. Because if you're that type of guy and you don't plan to play 20 or 30,000 hours, then you can't reach Immortal in my mind. But if you have fun on improving on small steps and being religiously and continuously inspired by moving and acquiring new little skills that add up over time, this is actually the process that brings you forward. Like if we want to start a coaching session, for example, then we would start by looking at very small things you can actually fix step by step. And my approach will always be that everything that happens in the game, every positive and every negative thing, is completely in your control. And I just talked about it with another guy, and he told me that his experience in Dota seems to be very one-sided. So either he's completely stomped or he is stomping the game completely. And what I tried to say was that this experience of having Dota as a single or like an entity that stands between you or in front of you and that acts on you, like you receive the information, you receive the input, and it just happens to you. This sensation can be conquered and can be minimized. So the return is actually that you come to a point where the sensation is more like, well, everything that happens is what I do. And I think this is way more accurate for life as well. Everything that happens to you is part of your identity. For example, I was so curious that he, like just from this day, that he was like saying, I'm happy that I'm better than you. And I'm sure he didn't meant it in a negative sense. But for example, if I would have been a young lady just coming out of the first semester, just starting the language, I bet his approach would have been completely different, because people adjust what they say and how they think actually according to what they encounter. And so whatever you get as feedback from the world is exactly what you put into it. The same thing, and this goes off like from Dota now, but many people say, well, I wish the world would have more love or more kindness. Well, if you wish that, then just give the world more love and more kindness, and suddenly the world becomes kinder and more loving and more forgiving and more friendly. You can just give it to the world, and then it becomes that. And I know, like, you probably don't believe me, but that's fine. Because this is like, this thesis is extreme. It seems like everything is in your control, that everything is your responsibility. That was a great stunt, by the way, if you look at the review. Holy shit. This Amar initiation, this guy's crazy. So the thesis is, to come back to the topic, the thesis is that whatever you encounter is part of yourself. Like, you see the world as you reflect it. And the approach that I would take is an experimental approach. I would say behave in a like, even imagine it, just behave as if it would be the case that everything you do comes back from the world. Just behave like that for a month, or for, if you translate it in Dota terms, just behave as if everything that would happen would be because of you. If something happens bottom, like if you gank somewhere and you manage to kill the guy, great. Act as if it would be your responsibility, as if it would be your honor that this happened. If a teammate randomly dies on the map, treat it as if it would be your responsibility to keep this guy alive. Maybe not even in physically being there, but maybe you could have communicated. Maybe the way you positioned yourself made him feed. This is what I see so many times, where they're like, oh, my carry is always feeding, and it's because the support takes the safest camps the carry can take. So just try to act as if this would be the case, and then see if it improves your life or not. And what I find is that my life is significantly improving if I live to those standards. So what I want to share, what do you really want? Do you want to gain MMR in Dota? Or do you want to have an enjoyable time? And maybe those two are the same things. Like, for many people, the pressure they get going in each game with full focus and going in each game with the expectation of getting better. Not the expectation of winning, by the way. For some people, this is exactly what is fun about Dota. And I would put myself into the category. But then again, how much time do you have for Dota? If you want to get to a high level, like immortal level. Many people laugh at me if I say immortal is high level. But if you want to get at a decent level, whatever you define it as, then you have to look at the people that are at this level, and then you have to copy what they do. And if you realize they're playing 6 games a day, look if you can play 6 games a day, or look if you can play 4 games, but better than them. And if you see this is unrealistic, then don't force yourself into that mindset. Don't force yourself to be like, well, I want to be this and this rank, but I don't want to behave like somebody in this rank. Then it's never gonna work, and then you're always gonna be unsatisfied because you're like, oh, my life is so horrible because I should be better, but for some reason I'm not. It must be because of my teammates, it must be fate, it must be something from above, that like the cosmos must direct me to be legend forever, whatever. I heard many crazy stories where people actually, and it translates perfectly in life as well, where they tell me Valve basically scammed their account and they are on a losing streak because Gaben personally attack them, and the whole world is against them. If you go in with this attitude, mainly out of the reason that you think that you are not on the rank you're supposed to be, then you're not going to improve. A. B. You're going to have a miserable life, and C. You're probably going to lose a ton of games. So what do you need to improve if this is what you really want to do? If you want to win in Dota, like in every other thing, you have to work at the smallest step you possibly can, and then stack them up step by step. So this could mean, very practically, in the first 5 minutes, if you're a core, in the first 5 minutes, get 25 CS, then try to get 30 CS. Do this for 15 games straight until it sits. And if you have an average of 25 or 30 CS in 5 minutes, the probability of you winning compared to getting 10 CS is like 5 times as high. Next thing, try to take objectives reasonably early. Try to look for the timings. If you play support, try to stay alive. Just live at a game. Look at your deaths, and if you have like 6, 7, 8 deaths, that's too much. So really take very, very small steps. And then even like, don't be like, okay, I have 6 deaths in one game. Maybe this frame is even too high. Maybe you have to say, okay, I don't have any deaths before minute 3. I don't have any deaths before minute 5. And then step by step, you're gonna increase in skill, in experience, in what works, in what actually changes the game. And then winning is just a consequence of that. That's not the goal. I think Seb said this perfectly, and he was like, that winning, yeah, he said it exactly like this. He said that winning is a consequence and not a goal. And what really stressed me personally, that's why I'm talking about this topic right now, stressed me personally today was exactly the fact that this person, this new person I just got to know today as well, so and like no blame against him, but this person conflicted the idea that I had in mind between what I want and what's happening. And he was coming from the position, oh, I'm so sorry, and you probably would have wanted to get a better grade, and I'm sorry that you did a bad job, hopefully you can do it better next time. And my approach was like, I'm so happy I actually succeeded, because all I wanted is to enjoy the language for itself. I enjoy Dota for itself, and not for the purpose of being somewhere. Another small tip I can give you, whenever you reach a rank, that's your goal, you think you might find happiness in it, but what you're going to do instead is you're going to define a new goal that doesn't lead to freedom as well. So this is a chain where you don't want to get stuck in. What you're going to realize is that improving towards your goal actually fulfills you with more joy and with more meaning than reaching a goal. Because as soon as you reach a goal, you have to define a new goal to move ahead. Otherwise you're stuck. And there's nothing worse in life than getting stuck. Even moving downwards could be a more positive thing, because at least you're moving and things are changing and they're not stagnant and not boring. But if you want to move upwards and you see your progress that you put to a decent goal that actually inspires you, that's where you're gonna find the most joy. Ah, look at this, and we get another coaching request. I love this. I love Dota. I love to share things about Dota. I hope you find some of those feelings and thoughts and rambles valuable. And yeah, I hope you managed to make this distinction quite nice, because as soon as I realized this for myself, that some things I do are just for play and some things are actually to become better, then instantly you have a relief, instantly you have a sense of freedom, and you can relax and you can calm back and you can actually focus on the things that are important. And here's another great thing. Your brain is amazing. Your brain, your capacity to do things, to think things, to feel things is unbelievable. And if you want to increase the power of your brain, take things easy. Take it really slow and really easy. See what the necessary things are in your life. See what you want to do and what you have to do, so you can fix the things you have to do as soon as possible without wasting time for the things you want to do. And then differentiate, maybe this is how we can summarize it. A lesson that I learned today, differentiate between play and between work. If you're playing and you're constantly thinking of work, then you're not playing. And if you're working and you're constantly thinking of play, then you're not working. And if you mix both of them, you will do nothing efficiently and nothing will satisfy you. So be sure to guard your time, guard your values, and figure out what you want from Dota. Maybe you want to improve because that's where you seek satisfaction. Maybe you want to enjoy your time. Maybe you want to forget time, which is another great thing about Dota, if you use it correctly. Maybe you just want to tune off in this different world of characters and lovely figures and chess-like structures. And this is all perfectly fine, but then don't go in the game with the expectation that your teammates are idiots. Don't go in the game with the expectation that you're going to lose anyways and you're doomed to lose the game because Gaben told you so. But go in it with curiosity and with openness and with willingness to learn. And if you have this attitude, I think, in life and in generally everything you do, then you're gonna realize not only is the value of your life actually increasing, but also the value of the people around you. And you're gonna realize that the things you wanted to do, or you're doing, you're gonna get better anyways, because your brain will naturally pick up on things. You naturally will learn things. If the feedback loop isn't too long, then your brain always improves step by step, and you don't have to force anything. And then you realize you're in a state of flow where things are just coming natural. Alright, I hope this made some sort of sense. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about Dota? What is it for you? What do you really want from playing this game? What do you want in life? So many great questions. I hope we all find some answers to that. Have a great time.